this is just my way of billboarding tonight's movie Max Killer Diller. It's something called New Year's Evil. Here's a story with a little something for everybody, especially those of you who are somewhere out there on the fringe. Don't you just love that title, New Year's Evil? It has a certain ring to it. Yeah, just like that. A certain ring. Against the backdrop of a New Year's Eve celebration being televised coast to coast, a sicko psycho unleashes his own brand of terror. I'll say it again. It ain't very pretty. New Year's Evil, another Movie Max quickie, are coming your way right after a message or two from these noisemakers, the advertisers.
An interesting start, aren't we?
Oh, yeah, we really are off to an interesting start. No question about that. Especially when you got some guy in a phone booth who makes my old pal Breather sound like Mr. Suave and debonair. And really, what can you say about some chick who dresses real tacky, who wears spike-studded bracelets, and who caters to the weird crowd? Oh, too macabre, I am sorry. Well, the obligatory stabbing in the shower scene is over and done with. And yes, once again, Alfred Hitchcock did a 360 in his grave. Back to back, right after these words as New Year's Evil continues. That's something important he wanted to tell his old lady is that he can't take that new wave so-called music. All that racket's giving him a nasty headache. And what'll those doggone punks come up with next? Well, just look at them. Slam dancing to slow music. Oh, cute. Real cute. So, meanwhile, over at the sanitarium, it looks like that guy who snuck in the back door with the cheap champagne and the ghetto blaster is doing all right with Nurse Grimace. Does she ever stop making those faces? Maybe she just didn't like the idea of drinking champagne out of a specimen cup. Hey, it looks like that kid Derek wants to get in on the fun after all. He's put on something appropriate. His mother's pantyhose. I went to a party like that last New Year's Eve, my own darn self. It was something else. When midnight rolled around, everybody sang that old favorite, May Odd Acquaintance Be Forgotten. And then the clock struck 12. And those same 12 struck back. Kind of hostile. And of course, it was time for the boys to kiss the girls. The heck of it was, they couldn't figure out which ones were the girls. I think you're supposed to be able to tell by which cheek the safety pin is stuck through. Sort of like in Hawaii, you know. I mean, well, sort of. In Hawaii, when a girl wears a flower behind one of her ears, it's supposed to mean she's available. Now, I could never remember which ear, so when I was in Hawaii, I just wore a flower behind both ears, just to cover my ass. Come to think of it, I didn't get kissed at that New Year's Eve party last year. Maybe I should have worn a safety pin through both cheeks. Oh, back to the movie right after this. Boy, I tell you, you can go in for that P&M, you can go in for that P&A, and you can go in for that Zen, but just remember, soap kills. If I said it 1,000,000 times, I said it once. Now, who the heck could that be? Oh. Hello, Elvira, Mr. Silverdot speaking.
Hello, Elvira. Is this the party line?
Oh, well, what do you know if it ain't crazy old Breather?
Yes, it's crazy old Breather, the party animal. Get down. How's it going?
Since you called it, it's going downhill. Oh, I shouldn't really put him down like that all the time. After all, he is my biggest fan. He even told me to just call him Roto-Rooter. He's always at my disposal.
Hey, Elvira, I got another really funny, wacky breather gag for you.
I wish somebody would come up with a breather gag. Okay, hit it.
All right. Why did the monkey fall out of the tree?
Gee, I don't know. Why did the monkey fall out of the tree?
Because it was dead. It was dead. Like...
midnight. Happy New Year from Aspen, Colorado.
Yeah, boy, I know this Mistress of the Dark never misses those CN punks of Aspen, Colorado. Oh, boy, it's right up there with Guy Lombardo in my book. It's like a regular New Year's Eve tradition. Maybe even stock footage. The CN punks. Give me a break. I thought that double feature over the drive-in looked kind of interesting. Kind of reminded me of movie Macabre material. In fact, didn't we already run that bloodbath here on the show? I don't know, they all run together like one big blur. Meanwhile, it looks like our sicko psycho's timetable has been thwarted. Hasn't he caused enough mayhem for one night? Not only does he have the blood of a half a dozen victims on his hands, who he has folded, spindled, and mutilated, but he's also responsible for wrecking a pretty darn swell Harley Davidson. He is sicker than Brainerd. Sicker than even... Why, it just happened to be there, right? And wasn't it lucky for that wacko that those LAPD uniforms come in one size fits all? Why, that sucker almost looks like it was tailor-made. Oh, well, by golly, now the tension really mounts. After these words, it's back to all the action as New Year's Evil continues on Movie Macabre.
Like hell I did. Come on.
Well, it looks like cat's out of the bag, and now everybody knows who that Mr. Evil character really is. The missing hubby. I mean, I've had it figured out since the very beginning. All you gotta do is put two and two together. Or maybe overhear someone on the crew who says he's seen it before. But what gets me is how come that shit didn't put two and two together? Oh, I guess it just never happened to come up in a conversation that he'd ever spent any time in a mental institution. Like, honey, before you marry me, there's something you ought to know. Not that she would listen anyway. Not now, darling. I'm on in 5 minutes. Tell me after the honeymoon. That dame ain't what you call one of the all-time great listeners. That kid's been trying to tell her something since the first reel. But no, she's got her show to think about. Not now, darling. I'm on in 5 minutes. Tell me after puberty. How come he didn't end up doing one of these numbers? I think the guys watched too many old reruns of Mission Impossible. Remember Greg Morris always fooling around with the wiring? Anyway, stick around. The Despinitos and New Year's Evil is coming up. Or is that going down? Hey, looks like that kid turned out to be a regular block off the old ship, didn't he? Like father, like son. Both with that wacky sense of humor, a regular pair of cut-ups. Oh, and when Dad took that plunge off the building, I just couldn't help but think, what a fitting climax to a New Year's Eve celebration. Kind of like that ball they're always dropping over Times Square, you know. Okie doke, gang. I've decided that in the spirit of the movie, I am going to make this New Year's resolution. I, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, I do hereby resolve to never show another stinko turkey here on Movie Macabre, she says with her fingers crossed behind her back. Oops. I wasn't supposed to read that part. You never read the stage directions out loud, you know. Well, never mind. Anyway, forget that stupid resolution. Besides, if you're only watching Movie Mac for the movie, Mac, well, there's more wrong with you than I can handle, okay? That's it for this time around, darling. Not a heck of a lot more to say, other than, of course, I'll be waiting for you next week right here on the old Silver Macabre, waiting with bated breath. And until then, here comes the kiss-off. Unpleasant dreams.